Hello and welcome this afternoon to the CACRAO Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students. We are so thrilled that you're with us today. As you're watching the presentation, just know that there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen where you can type presenters to your questions, and they'll be sure to answer those during the presentation. Your camera and microphone are off. Those are muted, your video is off, so the panelists can't see you today. That's why it's important for you to put your questions in the Q&A box. You can sign up for other sessions as well. Go back and watch some recorded sessions at the CACRAO website, which is www.cacrao.org. And in approximately a week, this session will be available for viewing as well through the CACRAO.org website. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters.
Great. Hey, everybody. My name is Stephen Albano. I am the Director of First Year Admissions, and I will be leading our information session today. Also joined by a couple of people here on our end at Flagler College to help. We have a student, Charlotte, who will get to kind of introduce herself in a little bit, and then my colleague, Philadelphia Zimmerman, who's helping me on the tech side. So I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know it's been a lot of Zooming, I'm sure, for school and all other kinds of things that you're doing. So thank you for spending some time with Flagler. What we're going to do is go through about a half-an-hour information session, just go through a little basic overview of Flagler, our admissions process, and then also be able to answer any questions you have about the admissions process. And Charlotte will be happy to take any questions from the student side for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now. So I'm not sure if you have had the opportunity to visit our campus yet or not. If not, we are doing in-person visits. So we'd love to have you come and visit with us. It's a great way to see campus. But our total enrollment is just about 2,500 students. So if you're looking for that smaller, personalized educational experience, Flagler is going to be that right place for you. And you know, the average incoming class is generally about 600, 650 first-year students and about 100 incoming transfer students. And what you're going to see on the next slide is our breakdown of where our students are coming from. And so this was our most recent incoming class. You can get an idea of where those first-year students decided to visit and join our campus community. So it's primarily going to be Eastern Seaboard, further north, the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast. And you'll see on our next slide our breakdown between in and out of state. So right now it's just about 50-50 parity. Florida still holds out, sending a decent amount of our students to it. But what I really loved about it, having attended Flagler, growing up in Florida, was the opportunity to get to meet people from all over the country, and then also from outside of the United States. We had students who were studying with us from all over, and so we have different options to get to learn about them in the classroom, but also outside the classroom, maybe your roommate or maybe in the clubs and organizations you're a part of. So it's really great. It helps you expand a little bit more of your worldview that way too. And just up here are some of our core values that we very much believe are going to be formative to your time spent on our campus. And so the transformative learning, starting off with that, obviously that's going to take place very much in the classroom. That's going to be your traditional in-person classes, but also those opportunities that we call experiential learning. And so that could be, doing a traditional internship. That could be working out in the community of St. Augustine, whether it's doing something specifically through a class, say it's like our sociology class, going out and polling different, parts of the town for different things. Could be going and working with our city archaeologists as part of our anthropology program, or in our education department, going out and being in those classes in St. Johns County. So those all exist here in part of our transformative learning. But also the respectful and inclusive community, citizenship with integrity, and then finally, thoughtful stewardship. All of these are also really important values that we hold dear to, what we do both in and out of our classroom. And so getting the opportunity to go and get involved with different clubs and organizations that do very much stewardship in our community. So that could be the organizations that work very much with those who are impoverished nearby. It could be those who are also helping with those with special needs in our community. There's also opportunities even just for walking dogs, and during the semester. So if you maybe miss your furry friend at home, you've got the opportunity to kind of, walk dogs with other people who really enjoy doing that. And so these are all really important things that we want to make sure our students are getting while they're here during those 4 years. We feel that these are going to be benefiting you, by the time you graduate, helping really change, the world and make it a better place. As far as where we're located, we're just about an hour south of Jacksonville and about 2 hours north of Orlando. So if you haven't been to St. Augustine before, it gives you an idea where we are. St. Augustine itself, as we'll see in just a little bit, basically is a smaller town. Our total population in the downtown area is only about 16,000. So again, if you're looking for those metropolitan areas nearby, Jacksonville and Orlando are great. You'll have opportunities to get to those. Students do different things over the weekends. They could be going to theme parks over the weekend in Orlando, shopping in Jacksonville, all different types of things that exist. And so we're right on the coast, as you can see. As far as flying or getting to campus, it's accessible in any different way. Obviously, those of you from South Carolina, it's not too far to drive. Those of you maybe from North Carolina, you may want to fly too. And so we have flight options coming right into Jacksonville International Airport or into Orlando International Airport. First-year students are welcome to drive too and have a parking spot on campus. So you are definitely able to bring your car if you choose to do that. But for those of you who maybe really fall in love with Florida during your time here at Flagler, you're going to also be really close by for some great opportunities for work afterwards, or maybe even going to graduate school. So again, Jacksonville is great as far as banking, as far as logistics and things like that, whereas Orlando has an amazing hospitality and tourism amongst everything else you can imagine, Orlando has. Whereas St. Augustine is going to be a little smaller kind of community-based economy where a lot of it is going to be hospitality driven. So again, lots of things to do while you're here in Florida and close by to our campus. And the next picture is actually a little bit about kind of who our students are and who makes up our community. And like I mentioned earlier, Flagler is very much a smaller school. We're known for really those, close friendships that people develop, not only with each other, but also with their professors and also the staff on campus. So if you're looking for a place that cares about who you are and wants you to actually be in the classroom, this is going to be that place. And St. Augustine, I think, also provides a very much, kind of laid back environment for learning. It's not very stressful here in town. It's a laid back kind of beachside community. Obviously very historic. It was founded in 1565 by the Spanish. And so there's a lot of history that our town has and that you're able to explore with your friends when you get to our campus. And so there's many ways to meet our students on campus, whether it's coming for a visit, whether it's getting involved in one of our virtual information sessions. We're going to be offering all different types of things that you can check out too. So feel free to check on our website. We'll be happy to connect you with some of our students so you can learn a little bit about them. And then this is beautiful downtown historic St. Augustine. What you're looking at is the image of the Bridge of Lions right into the heart of downtown. And so you can see our campus just right back over here. You're going to be walking distance to some amazing restaurants, some really great, cool little museums, art galleries, all different types of things. And so it's going to be really easy to get to those places, check out all that stuff with your friends while you're here, explore new areas. And while it does seem like a small town, I'm still constantly finding things that I never knew were even here in the first place. And so whether it's going out and trying a new restaurant or, because of the fact you're now a local here in St. Augustine, you're going to get an opportunity to maybe go check out that museum for free. And so always something going on. There's a lot of festivals we have throughout the year. We have what's called Rhythm and Ribs, which is a barbecue festival, which basically a bunch of people come together and they end up having a big cookout, and it's a contest to determine who has like the best ribs of the year. There's also a seafood festival, there's a Celtic festival, there's pretty much every type of festival you can imagine here in St. Augustine. And so again, those are all within walking distance. There's some really great live music too, both downtown, but also just across the Bridge of Lions, which brings you to Anastasia Island. There we have the St. Augustine Amphitheater, and you have opportunities to see a lot of your favorite bands that come through town. And so it's a really cool, intimate venue that doesn't feel too large. And so again, there's so much you can explore and check out while you're here, while still very much feeling like it's a smaller kind of inclusive community. Now, switching gears to the academic side, our average class size is only 18 students. So that includes your first year on campus. So if you're wanting that opportunity to really get to know your professors and get to know the other students in your classes, you're going to get that here. So again, you're not going to be in huge auditorium style classrooms for algebra or anything like that. We want you to be successful, and we feel that really the best way for that is going to be that in-person classroom experience. And so we do obviously have that. These are going to be classes taught by full-time faculty and adjunct staff. The graduate program we have is very small, and so therefore we don't have a large graduate school program or population here that is teaching classes. It's all going to be that full-time faculty or adjunct staff, and so you're going to get to develop those relationships with them and probably have a professor more than once here, and so they're going to get to know you, get to know your strengths, your weaknesses in the classroom, and how they can best help you. And so that was my favorite part of Flagler, was really getting that opportunity to get to know my teachers and have them be able to help me and figure out not only what I was doing, that semester, but also what I really wanted to do long-term with my degree. And up here, you're going to get to see some examples of our programs that students decided to major in. So this was our most recent incoming class. Again, just to kind of refresh you on the statistics, and basically working your way inwards, you're going to have the more popular programs they chose versus kind of those less popular programs. All in all, we offer about 37 academic programs that range from the social science programs, including sociology, psychology, criminology. You've got your very business specific programs, which would be obviously a business management. You've also got economics. You have things like accounting, marketing, every pretty much area in that you can want to study. We also have other kind of more pre-professional ones, which include graphic design, hospitality, tourism, education. Those are going to be ones with a very specific career, kind of pathway. And so all of these programs, again, are really developed to make sure you're going to be successful. You're going to get a strong foundation in your first 2 years in the liberal arts, making sure you're going to become a stronger writer, public speaker, or overall just critical thinker. And then those will prepare you for those upper level major specific classes. And because we are a private school, what we're able to do is offer tuition rates. And that basically means that you're able to take 4, 5, or 6 classes and basically pay the same price while you're here. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of our students deciding to study more than just their major. That can be like a major and a minor, double major. While I was a student here at Flagler, I studied history as a major, but I also minored in environmental science and in Spanish. And so it was very easy to be able to kind of balance all of that while still only paying the tuition here and not having to pay extra for those classes. And obviously we want to make sure, again, that you're prepared for life after college. And so we have a career development center on our campus that works with you every step of the way. So as early as your first year on campus, you're welcome to go and meet with them. You can go and just get some general advice about maybe the program you're studying and what that could turn into. We're also inviting people to our campus all of the time. So whether it's guest lecturers or speakers or companies on campus that you can learn a little bit about their corporate structure in a group setting. That way it's not as scary sitting down with like an employer on a one-on-one. We also obviously have hiring on campus. We bring all those organizations in different times of the year that allow you to maybe go and interview with that company that you've always wanted to go and work for. So again, we have those things available on our campus. We have the traditional resume development. They have the traditional how you can go through an interview tips and what to do, what not to do. We also have something really cool called the Career Closet on our campus, which basically students are able to go and pick out one professional outfit each semester from them. So you can go and get some ties, you can go get shoes, pants, whatever it may be. In college, I wore literally just t-shirts and shorts all the time. So it was important to kind of develop that professional closet afterwards too. And then because of our students, doing all of those things while they're here on our campus, as opposed to waiting to like that last week right before graduation, it really has prepared them well to enter the workforce or to go to graduate school. And so statistically speaking, we survey our students right at graduation, 3 months after, 6 months after, to determine where they ended up. And so 97% of our students from the May 2019 graduating class have secured employment or gone on to graduate school, which is super exciting for a traditional liberal arts campus like Flagler. And one thing I should mention too that I didn't is really after graduating, those services are still available to you. So don't feel that 5 or 10 years down the line, if maybe you've had a career change and you want to figure out what you can do, or you want to go back to them, get your resume updated, you can always call, set up an appointment, whatever technology we're using in those days, you're welcome to do that with them. And other things that we provide outside of the classroom for students are going to be our Learning Resource Center. And those are going to be basically tutoring, services that you can go in and get help with, whether it's writing a paper, you can come in from the brainstorming phase all the way to the final edits, and they'll work with you through that. We also have Math Tutoring Center in there, which essentially I lived in to pass my college algebra class. Otherwise, I would never have done that. We have one specific for different majors that you can go get some help in there too. So again, all of that's going to be included with your tuition along with all these other services I'm going to talk about. So don't feel as if you can't take advantage of this stuff, you're worried about cost or anything like that. This is already going to be a part of your tuition. The International Center is here too, not only for our currently enrolled international students, on our campus, but for students maybe looking to do a study abroad while they're here, whether that's going to be a summer trip with our faculty, or maybe it's going for an entire semester at one of our partnered universities, where basically you are going through Flagler and you're paying Flagler tuition, but you're actually getting to study at a different university. And we have partnerships in Japan, all over Europe, and other places around the world that you can go and get a really awesome adventure and education while you're a part of the community too. We have an amazing disability resource center on our campus that essentially if you did need any type of accommodations in or out of the classroom, you'd be able to schedule time with their director to kind of go over those in advance of the semester, making sure that you have everything you need to be successful once you get here. And then health services and a counseling center. So if you weren't feeling well and you wanted to stop by our clinic on campus, you're welcome to do that. They're available Monday through Friday from usually 8 till 5, staffed by nurses with nurse practitioner and physician hours each day. We also have a counseling center that is there to help students really, again, with the transition to college, which can be a bit stressful, homesickness, how to integrate on the campus community, just normal type of counseling sessions and group sessions that we have now too. And so it's amazing all of the things that you can really do and take advantage of when you're a student here at Flagler. Getting into the nitty gritty as far as cost is concerned, up here you're going to see the total cost on the left for your tuition, fees, room and board, and then on the right the breakdown between tuition and then room and board. So Flagler comes in about 60% of what the national average is for a private school. And the reason that we're able to offer a pretty competitive rate as far as tuition and room and board is concerned is because really we have a commitment to being able to offer a private school experience to students really from every single background. And we're proud of that opportunity that we provide. We also limit the number of academic programs that we are offering to our entire campus because, again, we don't want to try to be everything to everyone. We're definitely trying to make sure that what we're investing in is going to be successful for our students. And so therefore, we don't want to try to offer everything out there. We just financially couldn't do that. So tuition, you can see right there, like I mentioned earlier, that covers anything between 12 and 17 credit hours. And so essentially that would get you 4, 5, or 6 classes, and then room, board, and fees. We do require first-year students to live on campus. After that, it's entirely up to you. You're welcome to live on campus all 4 years if you would like, or if you want to move off campus after your first year, you can. It also requires the meal plan, the full meal plan, unlimited your first year, so that means you can go in anytime. Their hours are open, swipe as often as you would like. And majority of our students are receiving some form of financial aid. That could be merit aid offered through the college. It's going to be based on like your GPA and your test scores if you choose to submit them. Or it could be based on federal aid, that's coming from the government, the federal government, and also the state government. So there's a lot of different options that exist out there. We do have a really fantastic net price calculator on our website. You could check that out, go through different scenarios based on your family's earnings, but then also your GPA, test scores if you have that, also other kind of information to determine maybe what your cost of attendance would be at Flagler. You're also welcome to reach out to me at any point. I'm happy to go over all this with you to help you understand maybe what your cost of attendance at Flagler would be. Moving into what we require as far as admission standards, this is our class profile for the most recent incoming class. And this is pretty common, I would say, over the last few years. It doesn't shift very, very much. Our GPA average was about a 3.5. This is a recalculated Flagler College GPA. And I'll get into that in just a minute. SAT and ACT are up there too. We have been a test optional institution proudly for about 3 years now. And so students, are welcome to apply with their test scores included if you've been able to take an SAT or an ACT, or if not, you don't plan on doing that, you don't want your test scores to be a part of that, we totally understand. You're welcome to apply as a test optional candidate. Now, as far as the application process is concerned, we have two different applications you can choose to apply through. We have our own institution application at flagler.edu, and then you're also welcome to apply using the Common App if you're already planning on doing that. And so we are allowing students to apply as early as they complete their junior year. Generally, it opens up our application in August of the new school year, so you're welcome to get started on that if you are a senior now, and apply one of those two ways. We offer early decision and regular decision. Early decision deadline is going to be November 1st, and we notify all students of their admissions status through the mail on or before December the 15th. And then for the regular decision deadline, that is actually going to be March 1st, with our notifications on or before basically March 31st. Now, the way that we end up doing it is with early decision, it is designed for students who know that Flagler is their first choice. And so obviously we want to prioritize reading those applications, getting those students those decisions. And so we've begun already reading applications, sending out admissions decisions, but just keep in mind, you know, that means that it is your first choice if you apply through early decision, and that if you are admitted, you're going to rescind all other college applications. So it is a pretty big deal. Definitely make sure you're thinking it over if that is what you want to do. If you're not comfortable with that, we do offer regular decision, and we've actually begun reading those too. So again, you're not going to wait until March to hear back from us. If you get your application completed the fall of your senior year, do as I say, not as I did when I was in college or in high school. I waited to the last minute to do all my college applications. The sooner you get it done, the earlier we're able to get you a decision. So the application, obviously I went over those deadlines, and the fee is $50, or we do accept valid fee waivers. Official high school transcripts, you're going to actually do what we call the SSAR. And so basically you're going to go through, you're going to self-report your academic record all the way from freshman year. It's going to include obviously 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. You're able to go in and put your grades that you earned, the class that you took, the rigor of the class, whether it was standard, honors, AP, college prep, any of those things, you're going to be able to add that in there. And then basically, like I said, everything through junior year, you're welcome to add in senior year if you have grades already for that, or you can just put your schedule in too. Basically what that's going to do is recalculate your GPA based on your academic core classes. So your English, your math, your social and natural sciences. That's what's going to determine your Flagler GPA for us. We require one academic recommendation that will be needed from either a teacher or a counselor. That can be sent to us. We do accept more than one. However, we only do require just one. There's the essay component, which obviously with our application is going to just be a very specific Flagler question, and that you can read in there. It's a minimum of about 250 words. And then whereas with Common App, you have about 5 or 6 different essay prompts you can choose from. Either way, again, it's entirely up to you. We don't have a preference for one application or the other. Just make sure that you're taking the time to read over what it is you're planning on saying in the essay. Writing a coherent one that answers the prompt is, you know, easy to read, makes sense, and doesn't have the wrong school name in there. It happens more than you think. Definitely, if you're changing individual school names on there, make sure you change that before you hit the submit button. And then optionally, you're, like I said, welcome to send us SAT or ACT scores if you'd like. Those are not required for admission though, so it's entirely up to you. If you decide to send us those later on after you apply test optional, we're happy to consider them for merit aid too. All right, we're going to skip over this one. This is more the transfer side of admissions. And then basically once a student has been admitted, that's what we're going to talk just briefly about. We're not going to get too deep into it. But basically once a student is admitted and they've decided that Flagler is the school they want to attend, they're going to submit their non-refundable deposit, which is $400 for first-year students, and their enrollment forms. That will be available as soon as the student's been admitted, so it can come as early as the fall or in the spring, whenever, again, you get admitted. There are 2 deadlines, though. For early decision, that has to be by January 15th, or for regular decision students, that's by May 1st. At that point, you would eventually then receive your Flagler email address. That typically is released in the springtime, usually around March or April, to our incoming students. You'll then receive instructions on how to complete a math placement exam as well as survey too, because that's going to be used in helping us to determine what your class schedule is going to be in the upcoming fall term. And then in early March, you're going to get some contact from your advisors. We have a case advising team that here works with all of our incoming first-year students. Essentially, we'll help you figure out your schedule both semesters, get you the advising you need, and then we'll help transition you to a more formal academic advisor starting your sophomore year on campus. In June, you're going to be able to get your housing assignments. That will be based on either if you completed the enrollment form with basically choosing a random roommate. They'll go ahead and use all of the information you provided on that form and then get that in there with you. And then if not, you can also request another roommate too. That is an option specifically by name. So, and basically I think that was pretty much it that I had on the regular presentation. At this point, I've wanted to invite Charlotte up. Charlotte's one of our students here at Flagler. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. I do wanna tell you, we are 6 feet apart right now. That's why I'm not wearing my mask, why Charlotte's not wearing her mask. We measured it out before this presentation. So I'm gonna give the floor to Charlotte.
Hi everybody, my name is Charlotte. I'm a sophomore here at Flagler. I am majoring in secondary English education and I'm from Concord, North Carolina. I was introduced to Flagler by one of my family members. They live in Georgia, so it's a little bit closer. And I toured the campus the summer before my senior year of high school and I just absolutely fell in love with it. It's a beautiful campus, a little unorthodox different from the normal typical college experience, which I really liked. And I know earlier we were talking a lot about how small of a community it is, and I really liked that. I came from a very small high school, so I knew that I wanted a much smaller college as opposed to some of the bigger state schools, especially being from the Carolinas, that we have a lot up there. And yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Charlotte, for taking some time. Obviously, right now, we're opening up the floor to any questions that we have. And so Philadelphia is going to read those to us, and we'll be doing our best to answer them.
All right, so the first question we have is for Stephen. Do we offer sport management? And then if so, what type of internships in St. Augustine or nearby cities does Flagler offer with specifically to sport management?
Great question. So yes, Flagler does offer sport management. It's going to be one of our pre-professional tracks. And again, what's awesome about that is it does have a required internship. The majority of our programs don't have required internships, and I still highly encourage all those students majoring in something that doesn't, still go ahead and sign up and do an internship, because that could be that main difference between you getting a job with someone with that same degree versus not getting that job. But specifically the sport management in the St. Augustine area, like I mentioned earlier, we're a smaller community, so there's not like sport franchises necessarily like large ones here in St. Augustine, but students have been able to get internships locally with the Y. I know it's been a really popular one, but also just smaller rec league organizations in our St. Augustine community, developing just kind of different programming and things like that. That is an option. And whereas if you were looking to maybe do a little bit large scale, we have Jacksonville, Orlando nearby, Miami too. And so our students have been able to work with some of those large sports organizations, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Orlando Magic, the Miami Heat, the Daytona Speedway, all different types of things. And so what's really awesome is Flagler actually had, I believe, the first accredited sport management program in our state. And so therefore we have a really strong history in getting our students successful internships and getting them able to continue working in those after that time.
All right, the next question we have is for both of you, but what is your favorite restaurant to eat at off campus? They're looking for restaurant recommendations for when they come down to visit.
Okay, Charlotte, do you want to go or you want me to go?
I can go.
Okay.
If you're looking for pizza, definitely Pizza Alley on St. George Street, and also Mayday Ice Cream is the best off-campus ice cream that I've been able to find so far.
So I definitely agree with you on Mayday Ice Cream. I think it's fantastic. The joke in our office is the second most difficult thing that we do on choosing who comes to Flagler is where we're going to go for lunch that day, because we are big foodies in the office and we like to kind of figure out where we're going to go. So I would have to say my favorite restaurant right now in downtown St. Augustine, I would say it's probably Bantam Chef, because they have this gigantic fish sandwich that you can get, but they also do just very like standard like hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, like all different types of things. So that's like my favorite right now.
All right, thank you. And the next question is going to be about scholarships. Can you stack merit-based scholarships and sports scholarships if you are awarded an athletic scholarship?
So right now, students are able to receive both athletic scholarships and merit scholarships. I don't believe that they're stacking them right now currently. Typically, they will be aware, our athletics department is aware of the merit scholarship you're receiving, because typically a student will go through the admissions process and finish that before they're getting that full offer from our athletics department.
All right, and then This question may be for both of you, but I think, Charlotte, you may be able to answer this as far as like remembering back through your process. But did you register for classes during move-in, or did you do that separate? Was that a separate process that you did before you got here?
So I actually registered for classes during our campus visit day in the spring. So in pre-corona times, we had this big campus visit day where all the admitted students could come and visit. And hopefully after Corona goes away, we'll be able to bring that back for y'all. But so the way that worked is I went to the library and they had a computer lab, and all of the admitted students came and sat down, and they had professors and people from the admissions office walking around asking us our majors, helping us register. So that's how I registered for my classes.
Awesome, thank you. And Stephen, do you just want to follow up?
Yeah, so I was just going to mention too, if you're unable to make it to campus, it is not required to be here to do your class scheduling at all. We are able to do those fully virtually. We've gotten pretty good at virtual now, as I'm sure you have too with your school. But basically we coordinate all that in advance. You're going to work with your advising team to be able to get all those classes you need.
And then what is some other schools that Flagler typically crosses applications with? Who would you say is our biggest competitor in state?
In state Florida, I would say our most common one that we cross applications with, funnily enough, is UCF. And the University of Central Florida couldn't be any more different than Flagler, but we have a lot of out-of-state students applying there because they know Orlando. They think they might want that large state school experience, and so UCF can definitely provide that. But again, we really couldn't be any more different. And then as far as really the out-of-state one, at least in my territory, which for the Carolinas, I would have to say probably College of Charleston, we're very similar in a lot of ways. We're both in historic cities. We're both in the downtown area. We're coastal. So there's a lot of similarities between the two.
All right, and then Charlotte, what are some things that Flagler students like to do for fun?
There are always events being held on campus that we like to go to. We have stuff like De-Stress Day the week before exams, where the school kind of throws like a big carnival for us almost out on the West Lawn. So we always like going to big events like that that's put on by our campus activities board. Past that, off campus, we have the fort that's about a 10-minute walk away. So we like to go down to the waterfront, people watch with all the tourists walking around. That's really popular. And then I know earlier you mentioned going to the theme parks. They're about a 2-hour drive away. I was actually at Universal on Saturday. So
Awesome.
That's like really fun to go to on the weekends.
And I don't know if I mentioned it too, but like we're only about 10 minutes away from the beach. I don't think I did. So like right across the Bridge of Lions brings you to Anastasia Island. It's A1A. And so again, you're super close by and get to the beach. Most of my friends lived out there during college, surfed all the time. So there's everything you can imagine doing it outside beachside.
This person also said, Charlotte, it is nice to hear that you are from North Carolina, that they are from Charlotte, North Carolina. And then Stephen, what are our North Carolina recruiter doing as far as trying to talk with prospective students kind of this year? Are you going to North Carolina? Are you doing anything in person?
So it's really tough. Yeah, it's a tough question. I would love to. One of my favorite things about our job is being able to go and meet with students and talk about Flagler, with you at your school. And this year it's so different than any other year I can imagine in college admissions. I've been doing this almost 10 years now. And so, I miss getting on the road, visiting high schools, talking to students about why Flagler is a great fit for them. So right now, though, what I'm doing specifically is being able to set up individual appointments and Calendly. So if you go to our website at flagler.edu, if you click on my counselor profile, you can actually schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. And I'm happy to set that up however you're most comfortable. It could be like a Zoom meeting like this. It could also be a FaceTime. It could just be text. It could be a traditional phone call. So whatever you prefer. That's probably the best that we're going to be able to do, at least for the time being, maybe in the spring. But right now, it's going to be all kind of virtual at the time.
All right. And then how does a prospective student get on the mailing list or show interest in Flagler?
So right now actually is perfect. So if you've been listening with us today and you signed up to receive information, you're going to get it from us. We're going to start sending you emails. If you're a senior, you're going to get an invitation to apply in our application. That's something you can definitely do. If you're a junior or a little bit younger, you're going to start receiving some mailings from us, just some general information about Flagler so you can learn a little bit about who we are. So there's really nothing you need to do if you signed up to do this directly today. We're going to get that added into our system. However, you're also welcome to go to our website and get involved in a lot of different ways. You can request to receive information through there. It's going to be that same information, but you can also do another virtual visit with us. You can also set up a traditional in-person visit too on our website. If there's times that maybe you and your family are planning to come into Florida, definitely register, do that definitely early on, especially if you're coming during holiday times, just because, we're a little busier then.
And then the last question we have right now is regarding hurricanes. What is our hurricane plan? Have hurricanes hit campus? The student's just a little bit apprehensive because his grandparents live down here, so he obviously knows a little bit about what's been going on.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had a couple of crazy years, I would say. Not so much with like really damaging storms necessarily. It's just been something that we've dealt with more frequently. We, for the longest time, didn't have a lot of storms. We were pretty much getting by okay with just like a tropical storm here or there. I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now is when Hurricane Matthew came through. And that was like our first direct hit in about 40 some odd years, maybe 60 actually, because it was back in the 1960s. And so we really don't get hit directly very often. A lot of times we may get, the after effects of a storm coming through the state, or like I said, just a tropical storm, which is a lot of rain. Now, St. Augustine technically is under sea level, so we do tend to flood even from just an afternoon thunderstorm, which is why we highly encourage you to bring some rain boots. It's the easiest way to get to classes relatively dry. And then as far as a plan in place, we've had a lot of experience now developing that. And so making sure that our students are able to evacuate if necessary, but we do have plans to keep students on campus. If you're living here in the event that we don't need to evacuate, we can do that. A lot of times students choose to self-evacuate. The best thing about hurricanes is that you typically have a lot of time to prepare. And so making sure that you have that plan that we're using, but also that you've communicated with your family that they are aware of what you're planning on doing in the event something happens, that's the best thing we can do. But we're definitely here to help every step of the way. We're going to collect your contact information before you leave campus if you do that, and that way we can keep in touch. But basically we have daily information released from the college once a storm is tracking this way. We have a hurricane preparedness team basically that begins as soon as hurricane season starts and works through that time. So again, it's not something we ever like to have to deal with, but we are very much prepared in the event that we have to.
We don't have any more questions.
Okay, well, I believe that's all the questions we have right now. I want to take some time and thank Charlotte, our student volunteer today, did a fantastic job, in Philadelphia Zimmerman, our amazing tech person, also in charge of all of our visit programs. So if you do register for anything, you're going to be hearing from Philadelphia. Thank you again, too, for also watching with us today, learning more about Flagler College. Really hope that you were able to determine if this is going to be like the right school fit for you. We definitely want to show you a little bit more in the event that you can come and visit with us. Also, if you have questions, like I mentioned, go to my my page on our website. You can set up a visit, a one-on-one experience with me, and we can talk more in length if you want to learn more about kind of our financial aid, scholarships, or if you want to talk more about the application process, I'm more than happy to do that. So if you have questions, so outside of that, my email address, it's salbano@flagler.edu, and my office phone line, it's 904-819-6495. So thanks again, and we appreciate it.
So we'll wrap up with a few quick housekeeping items. Thank you so much for being a part of our experience today. After you close this window, there will be a very quick link, just a 4-question survey, if you don't mind taking a moment to complete that. And we want to encourage you to sign up for more university college informational sessions at our website, CACRAO.org, there on your screen. Every session has been recorded and will be available in the next few days for viewing. Thank you so much for being with us today.